I'm going to be reading from a piece that has gone through many titles, but right now it's called No, I Won't Get Better Soon. When I was little, I was fearless. Now I live my life in a state of constant anxiety. I never know when one of my medications will stop working, when one of my doctors will leave the practice, or if the price of my medications will increase beyond what I'm able to pay. Growing up and growing into so many illnesses, I used to question why this was all happening to me. I was a competitive gymnast all the way through high school, and now, as a senior in college, I have to be careful even just using the elliptical. I used to ask God why I had to go through this. Why did I have to get sick? What did I do wrong to deserve a chronically ill life? I've had a few years to come to terms with my conditions, and as the years passed, I've realized I'm not as broken as society thinks I am. Yes, there are days when I can't leave my bed without fear of fainting. Yes, there are days when my head hurts so badly I can't see straight. Yes, there are days when I can't even stomach a bowl of cereal without throwing up. Yes, there are days when I am bone tired, and yet I drag myself to every class. There are some days when I can't accomplish everything that needs to get done, and so I try my best to ration the energy that I do have. I was born 3 months early, and obviously I don't remember what life was like as a baby, but I know it included a lot of doctors. Let's be honest, it still includes a lot of doctors. After we got through the scary stages, like as an infant when I would forget to breathe, life started to get a little bit easier. As I got older, though, I needed occupational therapy because I was developmentally delayed and had left-sided weakness. I also had a lot of problems with my eyes, and I had to wear an eye patch until I was 10 years old. While my eyes weren't always the most reliable, food wasn't exactly my friend either. When I was 18, I was diagnosed with 2 rare disorders, eosinophilic esophagitis and gastroparesis. Eosinophilic esophagitis is a swallowing disorder, and it puts me at greater risk for food impaction in my esophagus. Due to this condition, I've had to cut a large range of foods from my diet, including some common allergens like eggs, peanuts, fish, shellfish, and gluten. Gastroparesis essentially means that food takes too long to leave my digestive tract. I can only eat small amounts of food at a time, and I have to take 3 different medications throughout the day to help relieve symptoms and help speed up gut motility. All that being said, I still frequently have severe abdominal pain and nausea that can prevent me from going about my day. Learning to manage life with a swallowing disorder and GI issues was a fairly easy adjustment in comparison to living with dysautonomia. By the time I got to college, I was taking a lot of different medications for a variety of issues. I took Effexor as a prophylactic migraine medication, and it also acted as an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety medication. I would take rizatriptan and Reglan as rescue meds for migraines. I was on erythromycin, a probiotic, Nexium, and Flovent to deal with eosinophilic esophagitis and gastroparesis. I also had a new inhaler called Combivent for my asthma, and I took Ativan for anxiety attacks. At the end of my junior year of college, I started having dizzy spells, more intense migraines, worse abdominal pain flares, and pre-syncope episodes, in addition to being tired and exhausted no matter how much sleep I got. Initially, we targeted my symptoms one at a time, because I had a lot of pre-existing conditions to go along with my new symptoms of getting dizzy and almost passing out. My primary care physician recommended me to a cardiologist, and after doing an EKG to check the rhythm of my heart and wearing a Holter monitor for 24 hours, I was diagnosed with dysautonomia. At first, she said it was just inappropriate sinus tachycardia, which meant that my average heart rate was above 100 beats per minute. In most people, an average heart rate is between 50 to 80 beats per minute. After talking about my dizzy and near fainting spells when switching positions, we started talking about postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is when your heart rate increases by more than 35 beats per minute when going from lying to sitting to standing. Both inappropriate sinus tachycardia and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome are forms of dysautonomia. The thing about dysautonomia is that it impacts your autonomic nervous system, which is essentially your body's internal regulator. Common symptoms that people with dysautonomia suffer from include migraines, brain fog, chronic fatigue, difficulty with temperature regulation, GI issues, dizziness, vertigo, syncope, fainting, and presyncope, near fainting episodes, anxiety, and oversensitivity to light and noise. Due to dysautonomia, my body isn't great at regulating its temperature. My teeth will start to chatter when it's 50 degrees out, and I'll get red heat rashes as soon as it's sunny or above 80 degrees. I have to wear compression socks to help keep my blood pressure from dropping too low, and I have to wear a heart rate monitor to make sure my pulse doesn't get dangerously high. I also take a medication called Corlinor 3 times a day to help regulate my heart rate. I'm 22 years old, and I regularly see a neurologist, an asthma allergy specialist, a cardiologist, a dermatologist, a gastroenterologist, a psychotherapist, a psychiatrist, a physical therapist, an orthopedist, and my regular primary care physician. That's a lot of doctors, no matter how old you are. I take about 10 medications routinely throughout one day, and my body is limited in the things that I can do. I have accepted that this is my life now, but I've also realized that I have a voice. I don't have to suffer in silence. I can write and make videos about life with invisible illnesses and try to get the rest of the world to see and accept us. Through it all, I persist. I continue doing the things that I love, even if those things look different than they used to. It's part of my identity to be chronically ill, but it's not everything I am. Thank you.